Alrighty. All right, Monday, December 22nd at 7:45. Everything is gapping up this morning. Everything was up really nicely all night in the overnight. Story of the morning, I think, is gold. Gold up another $56, and silver getting close to that 70 handle, folks. It's pretty amazing. Silver mostly because I mean, quite honestly, silver has been a dead asset for I can't even tell you how long. I mean, and I know I have had 100 shares of the SLV for literally 20 plus years. It must be even longer. It was one of the first things I actually purchased in my wife's IRA way long time ago, and I just kind of held on to it. I had it. It did absolutely nothing for years. It wasn't doing any damage to her account. It just wasn't going anywhere. And, there was quite a few times, I have to admit, there was a number of times I was like, you know what, let me get rid of this absolute piece of garbage. It's not going anywhere. Yeah, it's really hard. Like one thing that never really gets explained to people, I think, when they look at the markets overall, or they look and they say, if you hold on to, and it's like such a scam marketing technique that, they show these long-term returns. And then, what they don't tell you is that, well, you know what, during that 30 years that you have this, there's going to be a ton of shit that happens in your life. And there's going to be a ton of shit that happens in the market. Is going to actually force you a lot of times to sell your shit. Let's face it. There's going to be times when you're going to sell your shit and you're going to be like, yeah, you know what? I got to sell it because of, 100 reasons. I got to send my kids to school. I got to pay doctor bills. My parents are sick or whatever. I'm sick. My wife, somebody in my family's sick. Somebody in my family needs help. And they make it so like rudimentary, like, you just put money away. And it's like, because I'm coming to you with this at someone who's almost 60 years old. And I say to myself, yeah, if I would have just did this over the last 35 or 40 years, yeah, that was great. If that was the only thing fucking going on in my life, yeah, that was fucking great, a great decision. But the problem is that that's not always the case, right? So anyway, this kind of proves that point that this looks great on paper. Like, I was a genius. I held on to this but I really only made money on this in the last 2 years. The previous, 25 or however long I've held on to this, I didn't make shit. But if you compounded it and you actually showed this over a 10-year period, like, if you owned the SLV in 10 years, you would have, right? And it's like, yeah, okay, well, meanwhile, almost all of that 10 years has been in the last 2 years. So shut up, right? Shut up. Do what you think you need to do at the time. Like, I always say that to people, because, nothing actually impresses me. So anyway, there you have it. Silver up, gold. I don't want to get on a rant, but, and the reason I even went down that road is I'm seeing more and more, I don't know what it is, but I'm seeing more and more of these, just ridiculous posts about, time in the market and blah, 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 which, what's great. And I think everybody knows that. Look, everybody knows that. But, it's like, dude, go away. Go away. Nobody's buying your crap, right? No one's buying your crap anymore. That's why you're out marketing. Nobody trusts you because they all realize that all these statistics are padded. And none of these statistics take into the account that there's going to be shit that happens in your life that's going to be a little bit more important than putting $200 or $300 a month away that you're going to have to take care of. So, there you have it. So anyway, you've got gold gapping up. You got the copper, which continues to look strong. But as I said, Friday, I'm kind of starting to like copper short. Problem with copper, though, is it's a very difficult asset to get short. Yeah. And then looking at some of the other markets, let's take a look at crude oil. Crude oil having a really nice move here back to the upside. As I said, I'm looking for about $60 on crude oil. I kind of think that's reasonable here on crude, and I will likely back out of my positions or start to back out of my positions. I also had mentioned I like natural gas down here. Not to make it a big, incredible move like it did just a couple of weeks ago, but to have at least a decent gap back up to about 460. I'm looking for 470 range up in here. That's what I'm looking for in that natty gas. Now, the problem and I didn't even realize, I thought I had a I thought I had gotten, let me move this over here for a sec. I thought I had actually enabled futures trading on my account, but for some reason it's not there. And I'm a little pissed off, quite honestly, because I tried to do something last night and it was giving me these errors that you are not authorized. And I'm like, well, I authorized it like Thursday last week, and it's like it should have been authorized. And anyway, long story short is